got an email address, I got a Twitter account, we gonna get her some money. That is the type of leadership that America deserves. And for me, this is just my lady. This is my lady, y'all. She is a vibe of all vibes. I just love her, I love her, and so does America. I give you Miss Jessica Jackson to give us her perspective on Agenda 47.
You crazy. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that's coming out in support of us doing better as a country, us doing better as a nation. I appreciate the kind words from P. Ray. I appreciate the love that I get when I come here. But I want everybody to understand, first and foremost, all glory goes to God. That's first and foremost. And then on top of that, I don't want to set the stage at all that anything that I have been doing in City Hall is me by myself. It's quite a few of us that are always down there. Zoe Lee is always down there. Right, Michael Young Bay is always down there. Of course, we know George Blakemore, Nicole, Michael Young Bay's. Okay, just like I don't do social media, I don't do none of this junk. Okay, perfect. So we've all been working very hard to get us to where the city is listening to what we're saying, and praise God, it has taken toll across the country. And I want Chicago to know that I'm so proud of Chicago. We're doing a major work here. And the reason why I say that, real briefly before I get to the topic that you want me to be on for the 47. I lived in California. I was born and raised in Chicago. And after college, I went to California. And I lived in California for 35 years. I came back to Chicago because of what you hear me talk about, the problems with my mother's estate, how Cook County and the city of Chicago straight up are stealing black people's property. I want you all to get that through your head, through your psyche, what they're doing to our property. And that's what brought me back here. But in California, immigration started back there years ago in the 90s. And it came with such a force that it took over California. And there was no pushback from Californians, none. They were saying, well, you know, Mexico did used to belong to the Mexicans. California did used to belong to the Mexicans, and there was absolutely no pushback. Just like you saw when immigration was coming into New York, there was no pushback, because New York has always had a heavy African immigration population there. So it was no pushback. But when they brought that nonsense to Chicago, come on, when they brought that nonsense to Chicago, and when they brought it to the South Side, they came over to Jeanette Taylor's ward first. And those people warned Lori Lightfoot at that point that if she allowed those immigrants to come into that Wentworth school, that she was not going to get back in office. And we saw the people in that community hold true to that, and she didn't get back in office. Then they came to South Shore with South Shore High School. And that's when you saw that South Shore group, Natasha Dunn, and that group started fighting back. And then it took a wider range. When I started coming because of my property, Zoe Lee started coming because of her mother's property, and the result is what you see today. Chicago, we setting it off. We set it off. We set it off. We let America know how we gonna be treated. We stopped them in their tracks. We let the Democratic Party understand that their time was up with the nonsense. We let the Democratic Party understand that we tired of the empty lots, we tired of the abandoned buildings, we are tired of the underserved schools, we tired of our kids not having what they should have, and I understand the issue with choice schools. I get it, but I also know this. Our children deserve to have good education in their communities. They shouldn't have to go across town to get no decent education. If they would keep all this low-income housing out of our communities, and let us own property in peace. The property taxes is what channels the resources for a local school. If we have more property ownership in our communities, then we will have more resources in our schools. But the trick that the Democratic Party is doing, pushing this poverty down our throats about low-income housing, subsidized housing, affordable housing, all these things are intended to keep us poor. And in keeping us poor, it keeps our schools underserved. And when we have our schools underserved, next thing you know, we're generating another generation of ignorance. We know better, and we need to do better. So I just want to thank Chicago for being Chicago. It's not me. You all made the ground very fertile before I even got here with the work that was being put in from this city, from the people in this town. So I came into fertile soil. So I want to thank you all for that. Now,